Hello, YouTube. Checking the microphone here. Looks like we are live.
Yeah, we live.
Big D and HiFiVega here in the house. Just trying to get some feedback on the audio. Not feedback, but feedback. Is that an oxymoron?
Yeah.
No, something else. Isn't that ironic, don't you think?
A little too ironic.
Oh boy, we got Vegas singing tonight. Lord. We can have the views going through the roof.
Oh man. That's how I'm gonna really make it big in YouTube.
That's right. I don't see any comments yet. Guys, how is the audio sound? Everybody has gone to sleep waiting.
Yeah.
When I create the link for the live stream, it used to it would tell people how much longer because I set the time. Like it asked me what time do I want the stream to start. But then we have to start the Google Hangout first. But as soon as we start the Google Hangout to do testing before we go live, it tells everybody else that we're live and we're not.
Oh,
So I don't know.
fake
Something,
news.
yeah. We'll have to figure out that in 2019. Figure out
Yeah.
how to stream like bosses instead of amateurs. I don't know what to say about that. We are what we eat from our head down to our feet. All right. We still, anybody out there who's, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't scroll down. Sounds fine to me. Thank you. If Big Dummy here would have scrolled down, see how to scroll? Yes, I understand that, but I didn't just a few minutes ago. Thanks everybody for commenting that it sounds good because I was up too far and I was seeing earlier comments and they won't
And
jumping down.
you only type an emoji.
Exactly. That's the only thing I understand. Alrighty, cool. We got people in the house. We got like 26 people in the house. Fathers
Yeah.
of Bass. Brandon. We got Mark. We got David. Basshead 30. Mike. Timmy D. David Carter. Alan. Eric. Focus Dark Audio. Jeff. Rick. Did I miss anybody? JDRO18. Jadro? Jedro. J Welsh 1238 says he's a new subscriber. Got his son's first system hooked up yesterday. Sounds great. Two J Audio 10s and a Punch 500X2. That's what I'm talking
Wow.
about. Well, cool. Rob, are we ready to start and get this show on the road?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. So we will get the show on the road, you guys who are watching here live. Most of you know how this works, but if you don't, Rob and I are going to kindly ignore you, but not really, for about an hour as we do the show here for the audio podcast. And then as soon as we're done, you have our 100% full attention. So if you have any comments and questions and stuff like that, if you want to ask them along the way or save them to the end, however you want to do it, we'll go for about an hour ish of our podcast. Then we'll give you guys full attention.
Yeah.
Full attention!
Answer all the questions.
Or we'll figure out how to ignore answering the questions if they're too
Yeah.
difficult. We're pretty good at dodging them. Alrighty then, sir. Is it your turn or mine? I can't remember.
It's my turn.
It's your turn. Alright, so I'm going to share. And by the way, any artist out there, so this picture here is something I took from a photo of Rob and a photo of me and used a caricature software to make. And the font at the top is not right. I've had a lot of people say, hey, you need to use a different font. Well, I had this in Photoshop and it took me like an hour to make it to this point, and then my computer rebooted one night and I didn't realize it. And so I lost all the work that I did creating this, so that's why we've not changed it. But there is plans to change it in the future, so just so you know, we're not that much of slackers. It's just, priorities. Figure you guys would rather hear a show and hear us talk than worry about me creating a new um, document or picture or graphic, however you want to say it. I'll stop blabbing now. All right, Rob. I will mute myself. You go ahead and start, and then I'll switch back.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome to 12 Volt Talk, episode 22, year in review for 2018. It's HiFiVega here, youtube.com/HiFiVega, joined as always by my good buddy, BigDWiz.
What's up, guys? BigDWiz here. YouTube.com/BigDWiz. OldSchoolStereo.com. Facebook.com/OldSchoolStereo. Just search up BigDWiz or Old School Stereo and you'll find me. We are back here with an exciting show, Mr. Vega. Although not that exciting because we don't have a guest tonight.
No
But
guest.
we do, no guests, but we do have some important things to talk about. 2018 and the future. Actually, the current and the future of 2019.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it a little bit. Let's talk about some of our favorite moments of 2018. Why don't you start?
All right. So let's talk about my favorite YouTube video of the year. So for me, 2018 can be explained by one YouTube video, and it's EXO laying on top of six 18-inch woofers. Yeah, there it is. That was just awesome. It made my day, and it made my month.
Yeah, we've got to watch that again.
Yeah.
And this is not stealing his content because some people actually stole part of this video and used it making their own video. But yeah, that's just epic. We'll leave a link in the video description so you guys can watch this if you haven't seen it. 1.7 million people have seen it. So I'm sure a pretty good percentage of you guys have seen it. And if not, go back and watch it again. Even if you have watched it, go watch it again.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
it is epicness.
It is epic.
And
He
Rob,
should just cut them out. He should just cut out. There's so many good scenes just in that video. He should just cut them out and put them out small little bit size.
yeah, it's 23 minutes long too. So yeah, he would have lots of little Instagram and Facebook videos to make, but
Yeah.
those don't really make creators any money. So
Yeah.
you want to do the YouTube thing, but then people steal your content, which kind of stinks. But we're
Yeah.
not stealing it. We are reviewing it. We're
Yes.
bringing you guys more content.
We're praising it.
That's right. Praising it.
So what about you?
So, mine is, I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen this too. It's not really audio related, but it was so epic. And I know that, there's been some thoughts about it being fake and things like that, but this glitter bomb episode on YouTube where this guy takes this package and puts it on his porch and some of his friends put it on their porch and stuff like that, it's pretty epic. So, he's got 51 million views. I don't know if you can see that down here at the bottom. 51 million views, and yeah, I think it's worth every one of them because it is, even if it was made up, even if people got paid to show these reactions, it was still classic. And we pay for people acting all the time with stuff, but to me that video was just it's something everybody wants to do, wants to get back the thieves and the criminals.
And especially us in the car audio world, we've always got packages coming in. Every week you got something coming in.
That's right. So even like in this case, people had the Ring doorbell or whatever, name your brand of doorbell or camera on the front, and people just be stealing.
Yeah.
They just be walking up and just stealing your stuff. So keep an eye on it. Keep your neighbors. Have a big dog. I don't know, something like that. Keep people off your front porch.
Especially when you have that one-of-kind rare amp that you're waiting for, and you're like, oh, it's going to be here today, but I'm going to be at work. You just worry about it all day.
Those True Boss 4Ks. They are rare. So let's see what else. Rob, what do you think is your best YouTube video that you put out this year?
This year, I would say it's a playlist of the 12-inch shootouts. That's probably my favorite personally that I've done this year. So a lot of people enjoyed certain videos out of there. I think the Rockford Fosgate P3 was one of the most popular. But yeah, the series as a whole is really fun. It just finally concluded with the award show, so had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, and people that don't make videos don't really understand the time and effort it takes to create. I mean, you've got, let's see, you've got 10 videos total in this playlist, and you think average between 5 and 10 hours per video.
Yeah,
It took Rob to make this, so I mean that's pretty epic, and that last award show was pretty funny too. If you guys haven't seen it, we'll
yeah,
link it in the video description below. But yeah,
yeah.
Rob hands
Our boy Dick Riculus made an appearance.
he did, and Rob was all dressed to the T, and even the Sony guy he made an appearance too. Never seen him
Oh
before.
yeah, yeah, Mr. Cool Sony guy.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be back, right? We'll have to name him something else maybe, but
Yeah. Oh man. So what about you, Derek? What's your favorite videos?
so I will have to also choose a playlist, and it is the Korean 3K to 3500 watt amp comparison. I also had about 10 different videos in this series. And I think the biggest eye opener was, how similar a lot of these different amps are because, they're either made, in most cases, they're made by S&I or they're made by Xenon or Xenon, however you say that. Some of the amps, like Orion, makes their own stuff, but the other ones are, pretty much off the shelf designs. I know some of the companies pay for custom designs, such as Sundown, but most of the other ones, in some cases like the Crescendo and DC Audio, were exactly the same amp, just different color boards. Things like that, people need to see. They're spending their hard-earned money on this gear, so I think it's important for people to understand that in a lot of cases, the reason this stuff is inexpensive is because it's kind of cookie cutter.
Yeah.
There's no other way to say it.
And even a 3K is going to cost you. You're talking about $500 at least, which is small compared to the old school, but that's still quite an investment. So it's nice to have the information out there.
Yeah, it's interesting. We talk about it coming from the days when you spent, for $500 you got a 500 watt amp if you're lucky. Sometimes a 300 watt amp. Sometimes less than that. But these days you can get this much power for this price. It's really a change in the guards, change in time, stuff like that. But it's because the stuff has become so generic and it's easily recreated, and that's a benefit to a lot of people, especially the ones who are putting out their hard-earned dollars for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the end, it's like a lot of them are very similar. They're very much the same. They all did their rated power. So how
And
much do you want to spend?
then you always got the one shocker in there, which is good. So
Yes, there was a shocker. Actually, there
yeah,
were two shockers, but we'll get
yeah.
to that a little bit further down. I'm sure most people have seen that
Well,
who've
and
watched us here.
it's funny that you mentioned that shootout because that's my favorite content that you made this year as well. Because I think it's just being back from the magazine days when shootouts were like when you got the shootout aside from a directory, the shootout episode was the best. Just the subwoofer shootout they done in the magazine, stuff like that. The amp shootouts, I loved them all.
Yeah, I always wish they did more amp tests. I think that's one of the reasons why I got an amp dyno,
Yeah,
so I could do it myself because they never did enough in the magazines. It was like every time I got one, I was like, "What amp did they test?" And it'd be like a Jensen. I'm like, "Really? Out of all the
yeah,
amps you guys have access to, you're gonna test a Jensen?" No disrespect to the Jensen lovers, it is what it is. But we had a lot of, PPI and Orion and all that stuff
yeah,
back in the day that we all wanted to see that they never really showed, or they didn't show enough of, I don't think. But yeah, that was my favorite. I've got, I'm sure you do too, but we'll get to that in the talking about the future. But we've got a lot of plans of new stuff to do for this year, and it's exciting times. Very exciting.
yeah, yeah. Me too.
So let's go to the best audio things. That's a great description there. The best audio equipment in 2018. Now, some of this stuff we haven't got our hands on yet, but we're going to go by what the community has said and also our experience. So I'll let you go first, Rob. What's one of your top picks of the best, some of the best audio equipment in 2018?
So this is something I haven't got my hands on yet, as we were talking about. But the Dayton Audio DSP, that thing is really just come in at a price point that's just killing the game right now for DSPs and letting everybody get in at an entry level price. Because before this, I think the mini DSP 6x8 was, I think it was $300. So this is literally half the price. It's got a Bluetooth module and it's got a controller. You can get all in under $200. So, and that's shipped to your door.
Yeah, that is very intriguing. I will have to agree with you there for everything that it does. I think that would make for a pretty good video. So I don't know if you're going to do it or I'm going to do it or if we both do it, but that may be something for us to look at for 2019. Get our hands on one of these and do an in-depth review. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Well, and a little sneak peek is maybe we'll get to talk to somebody that has a little something to do with this coming out.
Hey, that's a great teaser.
Yeah.
Wonder who that could be. Maybe some guy that works at Parts Express?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Stay tuned for a future episode, friends. You may get to see this gentleman and hear more about these products.
All right, Steve. So give us one of your best audio things of 2018.
All right, so one of my best audio things of 2018 is the Savard
Boom.
HiQ 8-inch subs here. Yeah, these are impressive, and for the price too. I think they're still on sale. What are they? Are they $89
I,
right now?
I think last time I looked, they were, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're still 89 bucks. These have been compared to. I think they're a little beefier than the SA8 by Sundown. I think they're more like the X8,
Yeah.
but don't quote me on that if I'm wrong. But they actually have some of the SA8s I'm going to be kind of comparing against the HiQ 8s. But and also the Ultimax, the Dayton Ultimax. I have one of those.
Yeah.
Kind of want to compare them. But yeah, these, man, wow, they're impressive. I think everybody who's bought them that has given me feedback has also been very impressed with them. So not just the look, but they're beefy and they're deep bass and good quality
Yeah.
subs.
Yeah, and these things. I was actually a little worried when I first seen them, and it has a FS of 43 hertz, which is kind of high for me. But let me tell you, I heard it in Rick's truck, and I think he had it in a 1 foot sealed box, and that thing played low. I mean, so there's no worries about that. I mean, it actually shocked me when I heard it. So
Yeah, I agree. It's impressive from what I've heard and what I've played around with them. So I'm excited about some of the future products that are coming out, which we'll talk about here in a minute too. But let's see. I guess I'll go on with the other one because this is another one that I picked out. The Rockville K9 subs. Let's show it here. So the 12-inch model, the W12 K9 D2, it's 115 bucks, and that's shipped. And you can see here the magnet structure. It's got a cast aluminum frame, a nice surround. It's not one of the high roll super thick surrounds, but it's just a beefy looking sub. I mean, it's just really nice looking. And then from my initial test, I do have some of these. I got one in that I purchased, and Rockville sent me one. So I've been pretty happy with it so far. I've got it in an SPL size box right now. It's almost 3 cubic feet, tuned to about 35 hertz, and wow. Even with just a couple hundred watts, it is shaking everything in the labs. So, and
yeah,
been pretty good sub.
and it
So,
seems like Rockville's putting out some decent quality stuff for the price. They're kind of hard to beat in a lot of categories.
yeah, I mean, if you think about, Rob, the price of this, 115 bucks, and then they've got to pay to land it to them, and then they have to pay to ship it to you.
Yeah.
So you're talking maybe $30 on the cheap, maybe closer to 40 between both of those, and the fact they can sell it for 115, they must be getting these things for like $30, which
Yeah.
is
They've got it.
insane.
And I just done that quick review of the little home theater in one. And man, I got that thing for $40 shipped, I think it was. And it was actually really nice, man. I mean, it surprised me for $40.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it. And again, this is the beginning of 2019. Some of the changes to the Chinese pricing of things that are being imported, I think is going to hit us maybe at the end of this month, and we're going to start seeing prices go up. So just FYI, if you're trying to get some of this inexpensive audio equipment, it might be time to get it now because I would expect all the prices we're showing now to go up.
Yeah.
Now, if it doesn't go up, then be happy. But if it does go up, Big D told you it's coming. Just be
Yeah.
ready. So what
Uh,
else we got, Rob?
okay, so I'm gonna kick it to the OSS Texas edition meet. We had quite a large group out there, and I just really had a lot of fun out there, and I know you did too. And we didn't get enough video, and yeah, it was just a blast.
So here's a picture of most of the people who showed up. I think we probably had some that might have left early that didn't get into the picture, but great group of guys. We did have fun. We were down in, was it Spring, Texas?
No, it was oh, if you wouldn't ask me, just outside of Ennis.
Okay, yeah, we're close to Ennis, Texas, but
Yeah,
it was, it reminded me a lot of North Carolina, very open, a lot of trees, a lot of farming land, stuff like that. But we had a very cool place where we held the event. It was at a farm and it had a pond we could fish. And we did have some rain the day before, and I think the week before or 2 weeks before. And it was really, really, I'm going to show one of the pictures here of the mud.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we felt like we needed a boat. But other than that, the day we had the event, it cleared up and it was just a beautiful day. Um, in the morning we were going out there and had the sun pop out. It's really nice. But we had, if you guys haven't seen the video we did here on 12 Volt Talk, you can go back and watch that because I did show a lot of the screens. And if you're listening audio only, I apologize because you can't see this. But a lot of this is visually appealing. You just have to kind of go check out the video version. A lot of cool vehicles, some old school equipment, some new. We don't really care at the events what you're running. We're old school stereo. We like trading the old equipment, but in a lot of cases we like to run the new stuff. So we're just enjoy having a good time hanging out, and that was a good group of guys.
oh yeah. And I think I listened to almost every vehicle. I think I might have missed one or two. So that was my goal, and I accomplished that. I didn't get, but I don't even think I took one picture.
Yeah, there was quite a few people there, and I'm like Rob. I enjoy spending the time talking with people and hearing their systems, but there's just something about taking your camera out and videoing it that just kind of ruins the moment. So
Yeah.
Rob and I have talked about this. I think in the future we're going to try to get a professional to come out and take videos, take photos, stuff like that, so that we don't have to dedicate time to do that. We can just enjoy hanging out with the team, with the group, and
Yeah.
having a good time.
And then that way the people that can't make it could actually see what it feels like to be there.
That's right,
Uh,
because we don't do a very good job. I say we. I don't do a very good
yeah,
job
I don't.
of trying to capture the moments. Now I do have some video footage. Do have a lot of pictures, and people have donated pictures that were there. And I've got quite a few. I was planning on putting a video together, and it's just one of those things that keeps being put on the side burner. So I'll try to get that soon so I can show you guys who like to watch the YouTube videos. I can show you some of the vehicles there and some of the installs. And some of the demos, it's tough, because we can't play copyrighted music on YouTube. And most people don't have the royalty-free stuff in their car. And even if I have it on my phone, I'm not going to Bluetooth into somebody else's truck and break it.
Yeah, again. You forgot to say again.
Yeah, I don't know what they're talking about. It's all a bunch of bull.
And it matters how we remember it, not how it happened.
This is true. This is true. The stories will be legendary about how I broke the Savard
Yeah.
excursion and my Bluetooth desires and wishes and hopes.
You need to just carry a flash drive with you
It's probably a good idea. Maybe I should just carry a portable CD player with me.
with skip protection. You're going to need it.
That's true. Maybe a little old little iPod with a hard
Yeah.
drive in it. That would work too. So one of the other things I want to talk about is the Orion 3000D SPLX.
Oh,
It's
yeah, the
hard.
shocker.
It's hard to go through talking about 2018 without talking about this product. And yeah, I mean
Yeah.
anybody who's seen this amp knows it has three 1-aught inputs, three positive, three ground on a 3000 watt amp. I mean that's a joke to begin with.
Yeah.
We knew that this thing's gonna be more powerful than that, but the fact it was $600 is a retail, $599, and it did almost 5,000 watts. So it's truly an underrated amplifier. It blew the other 3K to 3,500 watt amps out of the water that I tested. And
Yeah.
really, I don't even, people still email me and say they can't find this thing in stock. They say it's never in stock. So, I don't, I do these videos for you guys, and Rob's the same way. We're not affiliated with these companies. I'm not affiliated with Orion. They don't pay me to do these videos. But when you get something like this that overperforms and is
Yeah.
cheaper, it starts a big stink because a lot of the other companies were mad. Oh, this is not truly a 3K, but it costs the same as your 3K, so why are you complaining?
Yeah. Or, so, in some hundreds of dollars less in some cases.
Absolutely, almost half because I think the DC audio was right at $1,000,
Yeah.
and this one's $599. So if you got the discount too off of eBay, sometimes when they have the discount, then you can literally get two of these, which I can't imagine anybody needing two of these
Yeah.
unless you were a true SPL, trying to somebody blow your windshield out.
Yeah.
But it's yeah, that one stirred up a lot of interesting controversy. But we'll get to that in a few minutes when we talk about the bummers of 2018.
Yeah.
So one of the other things, and I don't mean to take over the show here, but it's something else that I tested and again got some feedback on, was this Ignite audio. They call it the 4K, but it's really the R1600. And at the time I did the video, it was $75. It's since gone up to $82, which is still not bad. It's 1,000 watts. I'm sorry, 750 watts at 1 ohm and 530 at 2 ohms, and that's what it says here, RMS, and that's really what
Yeah.
it puts out. So it's true. And wow, Rob, could you imagine back in 1995 if somebody said you can get a 750 watt amp for $85?
Yeah. They did say that a lot at the flea market, but I didn't believe them.
Yes, they did. They did. Pyramid, we're not calling you out. Pile,
Yeah.
we're not calling you out. You guys did say those things back then.
No.
Sparkomatic. What was some of the other ones?
Uh, you got what? Vital Power? Didn't they make some?
Vital. I don't remember that one.
Yeah, something like that.
There were so many brands that were only sold at the flea markets that I get people ask me all the time, Big D, have you ever tested a, Vortex blah 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 audio da da da? And I'm like, what is that?
Yeah.
And they'll send me a picture, and this thing will have gauges and LEDs and all kind of crazy stuff. And I'm like, man, they really they tried hard to sell this stuff, but
Yeah.
there's no telling how many brands there were, just the flea market brands alone over the years. There's probably literally hundreds, possibly up to the thousands of different brands.
And some of them made it out of the flea markets into the mainstream. For me, Audubon was kind of one of those companies that they start out the flea market and they were gems. You get them fairly cheap, and then all of a sudden, they started showing up in mainstream, making big amps and doing big things.
Yeah, they did. And back when I was first getting into audio, the pyramid stuff, which we joke and laugh a lot about pyramid, but some of the early pyramid amplifiers and speakers were actually pretty good. And some of that stuff was made in the U.S. and some of the amps were made by Precision Power. And man, if I would have known that back then, and as cheap as those things were, I would have stacked. I would have saved all my lawn mowing money and bought me some pyramid. And all my friends have been laughing at me. Big D, you got pyramid in your car? I'm like, yep, but I'm bumping.
Yeah. Hey, some of that stuff OEM'd, we just didn't know back in the day.
We
It's something
didn't.
you don't learn until well into the future.
They didn't tell you that in the magazines, right? And we didn't
Yeah.
know because we didn't have this massively easy sharing tool called the internet.
Yeah.
Because that stuff would have been sold out and the prices would have been high anyway if everybody knew.
Yeah. If you were like Big D back in the day, you were living in the future anyways, catalog ordering, calling places, getting it shipped to your house.
That's right. Yeah, I didn't go to stores. I did go to stores, but I didn't buy much there because I saved my money, man. I was penny pinching. I was doing eBay before there was eBay. I was
Uh,
buying storage units without even buying them.
oh, and flipping them.
That's
Yeah.
right, flipping them.
So, why don't we talk about some of the bummers of 2018?
Whoa, I know where you're going with this one, Rob. So I'll let
Yeah.
you. I'll let you bring it up.
I mean, for us, the Bolin audio collapse was a huge bummer, mainly because we had Bernie on, and we were really pumped up, and I'm telling you, man, I just fell full into it, and you know, a lot of people got messed out of their money.
Yeah,
So
that one's a tough one because yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't even really know what to say about that other than it is a
yeah,
bummer. It
yeah,
really is a bummer. The whole situation, the people, when Rob and I did the show, we didn't know. I mean, I heard, rumors of maybe one or two people that hadn't received their stuff, but I had no idea it was the level, 40 plus amplifiers that hadn't shipped and,
yeah,
delays it was still taking a very long time to get the product out. And now what we found is quite a good percentage of the equipment that was shipped out was not working properly,
yeah.
which is another
Updates,
bummer. And
updates on that.
yeah, and I've actually got a SQ2150 here that has issues, and what a bummer that is because I wanted to
Yeah,
show, I wanted to test it and show the output power, even though you can't buy them anymore unless you find somebody who has one used that's willing to let them go. But we never really got a true number of how many of those things total sold. I mean, I'm thinking maybe a couple hundred, but I don't know for
yeah.
sure.
I mean, yeah. There's no way of us knowing, and what really bummed me out besides the people losing their money is just it put us in an awkward spot, like we didn't want to have to address any of that, but obviously we're gonna do what's right. So
Yeah, we really didn't because we felt kind of obligated to the fact that it was less than a month before that when we had Bernie on the show. Like Rob said, he talked the talk and just
yeah,
he's a very charismatic person. And I can see why people give him money because he makes you want to buy his equipment. He's a good salesperson, and the fact that a lot of people had given money and were waiting months, in some cases 6 months, I think was what I'd heard. No, no, I'm sorry. Brad waited over a year, didn't he, for his
yes,
amps?
and there were I think there was people well over a year.
Wow,
So
unbelievable. But Bowen Audio is no more. So
yeah,
they've shut the doors, and the future is unknown. The people that paid that don't have equipment, I'm not even sure that it's all there. I don't know, but
yeah,
you guys can check on Facebook. There's a bowl or not Bowling Audio or something group, and if you've actually invested money and have stuff, you can
yeah,
join that group and get some updates. I don't know what they're going to do with the equipment and all that stuff, but that is a bummer. That was a true bummer. Rob
That
and I just,
that's probably our combined biggest bummer of 2018.
it really is. It was hard, for us. But then hearing some of the stories that I heard about this one person and the past and other things that had happened, and
Yeah.
it's just sad. It really is that things keep happening over and over. And anyway, just hope for the
Yeah.
best for everybody in the future, and hope we don't get caught into that again. I would say one thing, don't let this dissuade you from investing in other American-made products.
Yeah.
There's some other companies, Linear Power, Mats, and there's a lot of the subwoofer companies too that are, do their best to make a lot of stuff here, and it costs them more money. It's going to cost more for the products. But I would say, if you still believe
Yeah.
in that, don't let this, pull you down.
Yeah. Just don't pre-order. Order it once it's out.
That is such a good suggestion. We'll have to call that a pro tip number one for this show.
Yeah.
Don't
The first pro
pre-order
tip of the
anything.
year.
Yes, we love pro tips. Don't pre-order anything.
All right. So on to much smaller bummers. Very small bummers. Nothing on the scale of the first one.
Yeah, so one of the other ones, and I wasn't involved in this one, but the Rockville K9 subwoofer that I just talked about, that was version 2. There was a version 1 that they shipped 6 months ago or something, sometime in the summer, I think,
Yeah.
and they had issues with the coils coming separated.
Yeah. They had
They had,
some gluing issues, I guess.
they had a lot of them, and I know EXO did a video about them and talked about the subs and really liked them and gave some away, and then he had a lot of views on that video, and then people bought the stuff and they're like, "Oh, the glue's coming off the
Yeah.
voice coil and it's coming separated." And so then he had to make another video saying, "Hey guys, I didn't know this was a problem, or I wouldn't have done this video." I
So
believe
he
him.
he got stuck in the same situation we did in a different manner, I
He
guess.
did. He did. He sold a lot of
Yeah.
products for him. I say that in the fact that when you're talking about a YouTube creator that's got 300,000 subscribers like EXO does, that's just on one channel. And the other one, he's got like 150,000 on his second channel. But he has a lot of influence. Knowing it or not knowing it, he has a lot of influence. So
Yeah.
he shows something like that and there's problems. He didn't know there were problems, but still,
Yeah.
Rockville sold a lot of equipment based on his video.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, he didn't have issues until later with his. I don't think he didn't have it during the video,
Yeah, I
did
don't
he?
even know if he did because I think some of them didn't have problems, but there were a
Yeah.
lot that did. Either way, that was a 2018 bummer for sure. The K9 subwoofer version 1. Now, the version 2 seems to be okay. I know they've sent some out to some other people for testing as well, and I've heard other people say that they're pretty impressed with them thus far. And they said they do stink when you really like slam on them,
Yeah.
but I haven't noticed that because I don't use mine in tight places right now. It's actually in my garage. It's not in a car where you could really smell stuff like that. But and I'm letting it break in a little bit before I really let it let the excursion fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this next one hits a little closer to home to Big D.
And this is literally closer to home because Sundown is here in North Carolina.
Yeah.
They're only a few hours away from me. Um, the Sundown SCV 3000D is no more. And so I know that the guys at Sundown are like, why did you have to choose the one amp, that didn't do what we thought it would do? And honestly, I didn't know that. I didn't go pick this amp out just because I knew that this was one of their amps that didn't do, how do you say this right? It was not as underrated as they thought it was, I guess is the best way to describe it. It actually did its rated power. It did 3,000 watts right at 14.5 volts, but it was not as underrated as the owner thought it was. But we did a video with the Sundown versus the Orion, and yeah, there was no comparison between those two, none at all.
Yeah.
But what soon happened after some of these videos that were made was they discontinued the SCV 3000. So they pulled it. I don't know, it was not my intention again to cause any issues like that, but it's like, even Jacob, the owner, thought that the test was wrong. It's like, oh, your test is wrong because we've tested these and they do way more than that.
Yeah.
So we had a brand new one sent here from Woofers, etc. It was within like what 30 or 40 watts of the original one I tested. So after that, I think they were kind of like, whoops.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean, it did its rated power. So it's just a bummer in the fact of, I think, the price. But then, we got a little confirmation from other repair techs or people talking about how well they're built, protecting circuitry and all that type of stuff. So,
yeah, so it's a good amp. There's
yeah.
nothing to dissuade that. It's just a matter of, people are big into numbers these days. I don't know why. Some guys must test amplifiers and get numbers. I don't know
Yeah.
why they would do things like that, but
Testing them
unintentionally,
all.
that's right, unintentionally causing people to have heartburn. But that was a bit of a bummer for 2018. So I didn't really have anything else for 2018, Rob. Did you? Any more bummers?
No, I think we're going to end 2018 on a bummer note, but then maybe we'll start to trend up in 2019.
Let's do that.
All right.
So let's talk about some of the trends and predictions that we have for 2019. First up, what do you think about these little amps?
Yeah, I like them. I mean, I'm not so sold on the Brazilian style small amps yet because they seem to get really hot, but yeah, so I like smaller amps. I tested what was it? The Xera. That was actually a pretty small amp.
Yeah, and so if you can see, I don't know if you can tell by the picture here, but that's a highlighter pen,
Sure. Oh man,
and this is a 500-watt amp by Sundown.
that's cool.
That's pretty small. It's a micro, price from 189, and they also showed a 4-channel, I believe, here. You can see the pigtails coming off, which obviously that is a problem with any of these micro amps because if they put the terminal strips on the end, it's going to add to the length of the amp. So they do things like this so you can mount them motorcycles and places like that, and it doesn't really matter because you're going to have to terminate that. But Rob, does this take you back to the old school?
Yeah, but some of the small amps that do have the pigtails, they at least have terminals for the power. For how much? What they say the price is 199 on that amp. I mean,
Let's see, the 4-channel 169 and the monoblock 500-watt monoblock's 189.
did it have the pigtail on for the power on the monoblock?
Let's see. I don't know if I've got pictures of that, but I will find out.
No, it's got the power terminal.
Yep,
Yeah, there we
power
go.
terminals.
So that's good. That's a good deal.
There you go. And they've even dyno tested it, so
Yeah.
they're showing all the ratings here.
Yeah, so see that makes me like it even more. Now the 4 channel not having the power terminals, I can get over that. With the subwoofer, I mean, you're gonna drive a little bit of power through that.
Have you noticed that the NVX 4-channel seems to be out of stock, and it has been for a while?
Yeah, the little one that looks like a crossover.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that they are replacing that, and they may have something. I don't know, so don't say anything. Don't get mad at me if I'm wrong, but I think that they've had some other new models come out for MVX, and I think they may be introducing a new one at CES, which is coming up this next week.
Yeah.
So we'll keep our eyes out for new NVX amps. But I've been trying to get one of those little micro ones, like you said, that looks like a crossover. That's the 4-channel. I think the monoblock one you can still get. It's only like 119 bucks.
Yep. Yeah,
But
I like the design of them. Just the crossover box. It looks cool.
yeah, very cool and very small. And that one actually has tiny little terminals with
Yeah.
little screws on there, which I'm like, man, that's the way to do it because you don't have to worry about splicing pigtails and all that.
Yeah. And that one really is like a crossover with the little terminals and everything.
Have you ever held one in your hand?
No.
No, me either. But it looks like you said. it will be a cool little comparison to show that versus an old school.
Yeah.
Actually, even new, because even the new crossovers look about the same.
Oh yeah.
So
So
yeah, I personally think, and I think Rob agrees that the small amps like this are something that's going to be big in 2019.
at least big for maybe not for the market that we cater to, but for people OEM upgrades and stuff. That's where they're going to make their money is them small amps.
Well, people, the interiors of cars these days, even the ones that have extra room, they have little cubbies and stuff like that, like underneath the seats of these extended cab trucks and things like
Yeah.
that. And these little amps right here pretty much disappear, and if all you need is a sub and a couple coaxials, then you're good with something like this.
Yeah.
But we'll,
So oh sorry, go ahead.
I was
Go ahead
just
and
going to
finish
say
out.
we'll keep tabs, going into 2019 about some of the other brands that are coming out with new micro lines. Obviously, Sundown is a huge, bass head amplifier brand, and if they're releasing them, then I'm sure that we're going to see a lot more of the other brands. Obviously, Pioneer and Sony have already got some kind of small amps, but when you're starting to see it go over to the bass head side of the community, it makes me think that they're seeing this as something that's coming, going to be big too.
Yeah, Sundown crosses that line a lot, anyways. Like with their SA12 sub, and they've got some of the bigger 6 channel amps that I'm not sure if they're Class D or Class AB, but they do have some sound quality focused stuff. So they're one of them crossover companies, I'd say. But on to the next. We talked about this a little bit with Sam. What do you think about Brazilian style amps? Are they going to take over or?
Yeah, so that one's tough. I mean, I think they've already made a huge run. I've got a specific one I'm going to show here, the Tar Amps Bass 3K. Now, in the past, the way Sam described it is the way I've heard it described too from a lot of people is in the Brazilian market, their amplifiers run, in a lot of cases, they'll use them full range, or their low end is only like in the 40 to 50 hertz range because that's the kind of music they listen to. So when they brought those products here to the United States, there were issues when people were trying to play really low bass notes because they were pulling a lot of current. These amps have very small input terminals for power and ground, so there were some issues with these amps, going up in smoke and stuff like that. So it's great to see companies like Tar Amps coming out with a Bass 3K because this one's supposed to be designed for the U.S. market and the bass. So this is not a full range design amplifier. This is one that's designed for the lower frequencies. And I've seen some of the other companies do the same. PRV has done the same, but their base model is actually a Korean amp. It's one of the big ones. So even like their 1500 watt one is like a standard Korean size amp. So they know too that when people need these for playing low frequencies, they have to use some beefier components. Now, I haven't seen inside of this Bass 3K to know what differs this from the HD series or the MD series, but I'm sure we can get one of these once they become readily available, and we'll check it out and see what it's all about.
Yeah, I'd definitely be interested to see how they've done the terminals, what the cooling's like. Is the heat sink bigger? I mean, all those type of things.
Yeah, it looks eerily the same as the HD 3000, and if you watch the video, we'll put a link to their page in the video description below, and they've already done a dyno test, and they got just over 3,000 watts at 14.4 volts at 40 hertz. So it does its power, but it still looks like it has 4 gauge input terminals, which
Yeah,
I can't really understand the logic of a 3,000 watt amp having 4 gauge inputs for power and ground. It doesn't
yeah,
make sense. That's more, you need more current capacity than a 4 gauge can handle.
yeah. Well, they forgot the key rule: space makes bass. In amps and subs,
Is
you
that
need some space.
pro tip number 2?
Pro tip number 2.
All right,
Everybody knows that.
space makes bass.
Yeah,
But hey, it's got a cool little logo, Bass 3K, and got a little
yeah.
glass shattering and all that. Anyway, we'll we'll find out more about those hopefully coming out and see if those are legit. But I don't think the Brazilian amps are going anywhere. They made a
Yeah.
huge impact to the market because they came at a really low price point. I do think they were utilized outside of their parameters,
Yeah.
and that's probably why there were a lot of problems. But as Sam mentioned, they use higher quality MOSFETs and things like that inside, so they can be driven harder. But again, you still have to dissipate heat, friends.
Yeah.
It's got to go somewhere.
And that's what interests me is what is a company that knows the American market, someone can take that design and make the modifications to make it work for what we want. And if you can get rid of those gripes, I mean, that Brazilian style may just take over.
Yeah, so people like Mats and some of the other companies, and Orion does it too, but the full bridge design is not. I don't think it's really Brazilian. Like they didn't come out with it, but
Yeah.
they use it in a lot of their products. As you noticed, anybody who's seen their amps knows that they're small, way
Yeah.
smaller than an amp that's made in the U.S. or Korea or even China. So they've taken that design and ran with it. Obviously, it worked for them in their market. They brought it here, it got big, and then all of a sudden, let's make some changes to make it work. But yeah, I know Mats has got a 6 channel amp, that's only the size of a piece of paper that's 6 by 150. So there's no way, that one's got to have some design similar to the Brazilians. But anyway, we'll see. Again, we'll keep an eye on that for 2019 to see what the other Brazilian, the Sound Digitals, the Power US, however you say that.
Yeah. And then Banda.
Banda is another great Brazilian brand. In fact, even Sam had a lot of good things to say about Banda, and also Ethan did from the Amp Lab.
Yeah.
So we'll keep on our eyes on Banda, and there's some other ones. Obviously, I already said Sound Digital, but we'll keep our eyes and see where they go. But I don't think they're going anywhere.
No.
They've fully come into the market, and they've gotten really popular. And Sound Digital has what the loudest vehicle now. There's powered by Sound Digital amps.
Yeah. Well, and much like Class D took over from Class A, once it was refined, when Class D was really rough around the edges when it was first introduced to us in the '90s or even the late '80s, but it's been refined and refined and refined, and now it literally is the most common amp you're going to see out there.
Yeah, I mean there are drawbacks. The ones who are audiophiles that have the super good hearing. But again, you're moving down the road. If you're
Yeah.
sitting quiet in a car with your engine turned off, and you've got your little glass of wine, and you stick your pinky up,
Oh, I
then
thought that was something else. It looked like
I gotta watch
something
that. It's
else.
starting to look like what's his name from SpaceX?
Oh yeah, little
Eh,
Elon Musk.
Yeah, I'll have to watch that. Somebody's
Yeah.
going to use that as a meme, I'm sure. Don't do no screenshots. But
Yeah.
wow, man, you made me lose my train of thought.
Big D's
Woo.
on them tweeds.
Yeah, no. Wow, I completely forgot where I was going with that. But thanks, Rob. Appreciate
Yeah.
that. Anytime.
Oh man, I love to derail you.
You did. You railed me. I'll have to go back and listen to it so I can figure out what I was gonna say. So anyway, one of the other predictions for 2019, I'm gonna let you pick one of yours.
All right, so let me see what the options are we got in here. Oh, you know what I'm gonna go with? 6.5-inch subwoofers. I love small subs. I've always loved eights, and these 6.5s are coming on strong. This year, even last year, a little, and it just seems like it's gonna be the new thing.
Yeah, the Sundown 6.5s have been very popular. I think a lot of people that guy on Facebook, Ronnie Smith, which I think he's here in North Carolina,
Yeah,
has been doing some crazy builds with 6.5s, and
yeah. Right
yeah,
now, they're kind of the gold standard as far as six and a halfs go. sundown.
Yeah, the X 6.5s, I think X
Mm-hmm.
6.5s. Those are very beefy. But our friends at Savard have introduced. They're coming out with a HiQ 6.5
Yeah.
in a couple months, and that's exciting because they're real good about pricing, things at affordable levels. And there's some rumors that these are going to be 59. Is that right? $59 a piece?
Well, that's what I just heard
Yeah,
from you and our other good buddy.
I think so. I think that's what I saw on their Facebook page, and
Yeah, that's
wow,
crazy.
that is
I
crazy.
need some of those in my life.
When you start saving up,
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to save long. Just don't eat lunch at work for a week or something. You can- One at a time.
yeah, I don't know what it is about 6.5 inch and 8 inch subs for me. They just kind of do it for me. It's just the
It's
fact that,
people love them, man. Everybody we know, it seems like, loves the 6.5s and eights, and
well, anybody who's ever had doubts about 6.5s, they're a guy here in North Carolina, Chris,
yeah,
has two 6.5s in his, what has he got, a Chevy
shit,
Silverado.
yeah,
He's got it in the
single cab.
center. It's like the center console deal. And oh my gosh, you would
It
not think those were 6.5s. It
No,
was
they play
incredible.
low. They play low.
They
That's
really
what
do.
shocked me. That the loudness may shock people, but to me, the depth at which they played, I mean, it sounded like a 15.
Yeah, and he was only feeding them, I say only. I mean, 500 watts these days is not much. You can get 500 watts for nothing. And he had two of those in a transmission line box. And I was like, there's no way these are 6.5s. But the great thing about that is, we talked about this earlier, is a lot of the new vehicles, they've got little cubbies and stuff like that. Something like this, everybody doesn't need windshields flexing. We just want to hear some of the deep bass. We want to feel it. We want to,
Yeah,
get that full experience. And you know, tiny 6.5 inch subs that fit in like half a cubic foot boxes. That's exciting. We should all be
and
excited.
half the fun of that is showing somebody, but let them listen to it, and then be like, come look at this subwoofer." Then they look at it and they're like, "What? No way! What else you got in here?" And that started with me with Elemental Designs. The one Ed showed was one of the first 6.5s I ever used in my life, and we put it in like a 1 cubic foot ported box, a little 6.5, and that thing just it let loose.
And those who watch or get the Parts Express catalogs and know the Tang brand, they had a lot
Yeah,
of 6.5s that were, in fact, I think a lot of those were in the Logitech computer speakers, the subwoofer part. And people used to always say, man, these subwoofers are killer. And they took the driver out and found out they were Tang bands, which had super long throw and they had a low FS, good
yeah,
subs. But yeah, we'll keep our eyes out for who else is coming out with some beefy 6.5s in 2019. But we know Savard's coming out with them. Sundown already has them.
yeah. That
Scar has some. I've never tried those, but they look as beefy as some of the others.
Yeah, I'd love to do a 6.5 inch shootout. That'd be crazy. That'd be fun.
Ooh, I think we have your next 10 videos.
Yeah, next. It's gonna take me a year, fellas. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's hard, man. It's one of those things that we want to do. It's the same way with me with those Korean amps. It's like I want to do this. This
Yeah,
is gonna be great. After like the third one, you're like, am I ever gonna be done?
yeah,
Can I please get finished? It just takes a lot of time and a lot of investing. And if we had a way that we could do these, like capture the video segments and then somebody else edit it, or have a
oh
way that
yeah,
we didn't have
yeah.
to do, the planning, the shooting, the audio, the editing, all that stuff, it really, I don't want to say deflates the fun, but it kind of does in some ways because you see it so many times.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't mean to
If
complain
if
because
we
I'm
didn't
not.
have separate jobs, it wouldn't be nearly as bad. But it's like, oh, I got to go to work tomorrow, but I got to finish this, and I got to take the kids to the movies or to their dance rehearsal, to volleyball, to whatever.
Yeah, it's not like we're not complaining or we're trying
Yeah,
not to complain about this. It's just the reality is, people want to see these things, especially these days, this instant gratification.
yeah,
People want to see things. You start talking about a 12-inch shootout, they're like, "You can have it done next week," or I was like, "No, this is going to take me like 3 months."
yeah,
Why is it taking you 3 months? Well, it's because this is not all we do all day long.
yeah.
We have other
Life.
things. That's right. We have busy lives, but we enjoy doing this, so we enjoy it. But again, the shootouts are tough because you get tired.
Yeah,
It would be cool if we had a way that we could, kind of share the load of those when we did those, but then you can't have two different opinions on the same stuff. But we'll see about that. Six and a half
yeah.
inch shootout does sound fun though. I think that's
That'd be awesome.
something we need to look into.
Oh yeah, and if someone wants to see a cool video of a small sub going in a small spot, look at Craig's video of the little 8-inch IDQ 8 he put in his glove box of his Jeep. Very cool.
Oh
Check it
yeah,
out.
we'll have to remember to link that below. So
Yeah.
if anybody who's watching the video right now has a link to that, please leave it in the comments so we can add it. So one of the other things, another prediction for 2019 is Boss and Power Acoustic going legit in amp ratings. There is silence because a thumb is down. Rob is not talking, but he doesn't believe that that is a true prediction. I'm
No,
have
that's an anti prediction.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to side with you on that. You know, there could be a day in the future where the manufacturer, I say manufacturers, the companies that make car amplifiers are required to give, we don't want to say truthful, we want to say actual, because in some cases we don't know where they're coming up with these numbers. That's one of the reasons I decided to test amps, is because people didn't understand why a 3,000 watt amp is $59 and a $3,000 amp is $1,000. It's because the $59 one is not 3,000 watts. That's one reason. But build quality and some of the other things that come in, but it's so confusing to the consumer, and I really, really wish that there would be some standard, some board, something that these
Yeah,
companies have to abide by so that consumers understand what they're buying. Because I think
yeah.
car audio may be one of the last areas where people can just downright
Lie.
mislead,
Yeah,
lie to the consumer, and it seems to be no ramifications.
yeah. I mean, they got the CEA, CTA now, but there's no teeth behind that. I mean, they need something like the motion picture. They literally regulate themselves because they didn't want to get regulated by lawmakers. They do something like that.
Well, I'm not myself making threats by any means.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that there's a lot of data out there for somebody who Aaron Brockovich style, even though this is not affecting people's health, but who knows if somebody's going to gather all this data and take it to court and say, look, these companies are making a lot of money and they're not being truthful. So, you know,
yeah,
I would just, I'd be afraid if I was a company that was putting out false ratings. But
yeah.
I've been told not to say anything about it because,
You see that little. You see that what that sign says on the back? It says "Be very afraid."
yeah, should be afraid. It's probably,
Yeah,
it's probably got the guys with the black coats and the silenced guns walking around. So anyway, if something happens to me, y'all know why, because I said that here.
yeah. I mean, the Brazilians invaded us what last week or the week before.
Yes, they did.
So hopefully they're maybe we're back on their good side talking about their amps this week. So
No audio glitches tonight,
yeah.
please.
So 2019 is Big D gonna hit 100,000 subs?
Man, I sure hope so. It's been a long time coming. I started uploading in 2006, but my first car audio related video was 2009. So if I hit it in 2019, that's only 10 years to get 100,000. And for
Yeah,
some people, it's like, it took you 10 years. To me, it's like, yes.
yeah.
So we're
Oh,
close. We're at 81 something right now.
oh man, when it's like 99,970, we need to do something. We need like a live stream for that last one.
I think I will do that. I'm
That'd be
definitely
awesome.
planning on taking time off of work,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to think of some things I can do for the community at that time. But yeah, it fluctuates, as Rob knows. You know, some months you get more subscribers, others you get less. It just depends on how popular your videos are.
Yeah.
So I'll just have to see. I think hopefully it'll come sometime this year. Hopefully it can
Yeah.
accelerate a little more. But
Well, I mean, plus we're held hostage by the Google algorithm or the YouTube algorithm. Yeah, sometimes it makes your videos available to your subscribers. Sometimes it doesn't.
that's right.
It just depends on what it wants to do. So,
And sometimes you get on recommended, of
yeah,
people like EXO or Steve Mead or Soundman, which really helps,
yeah,
or Mark Cardio Fabrication. You know, those guys have got a ton of viewership, and if you get on their recommended video list, then that helps. But hey, we're just having fun here. I have
yeah,
invested a lot of time and energy over the last 10 years doing this. It will feel great because that's really been my goal. Actually, my goal was 10,000, and when I made it to 10,000, I never thought I'd make it to 100. But thanks to everybody who watches and subscribes and comments and all that stuff, and then everybody who listens here, because this is another fun endeavor with my
yeah.
good buddy Mr. Vega.
Oh yeah, we're trying to grow the whole community. I mean, the whole purpose of our Christmas video is, you know, we think of this not as us being creators and the viewers just being watchers. You know, we're all a community, from viewers to creators to everybody. It's just a car audio community to me, anyways.
It is, and we're trying to make it a better place, I guess, and we're trying to
Yeah,
get more of the information out there because there is a lot of bad information that's passed around because it's so easy to go ask a question on Facebook or wherever and get, you know, somebody's brother's uncle's nephew who worked at a car audio shop 10 years ago to give you their version of an answer, which may not be right.
yeah. Maybe your their cousin's brother's uncle could install that for cheaper.
Yeah, got to watch out for stuff like that. But I've got some stuff planned coming up, and I know Rob does too. The 6.5 shootout for Rob. You're sold on that now. Sorry, dude.
Yeah,
But yeah, the 2019, I'm looking forward to it as far as the videos that I have planned and some of the things I have coming out. I've showed the car in my last video, 1937 Ford. I've got some ideas of videos I want to make related to that. Home audio, I've done a Polk Audio home subwoofer. I've got a Pro Audio amp by Crown coming. So I'm not 100% going to stick to car audio, but I'm still audio. And the reason I'd kind of change around is because these other things are things I like to do too. So
yeah,
I enjoy testing amps and showing output power, but there's a lot more things that I enjoy doing, and hopefully other people enjoy it too.
yeah. Just like I ordered that little home theater all in one. I was like, hey, I ordered this. I need it. I might as well do a video on it.
Yeah, like I said before, with the little kicker amp I test, you never know what video you're going to make that's going to,
Yeah,
million views. You have no idea. Sometimes it's stuff like that
yeah,
that you were thinking, well, I might make a video on that. Nah. Then you do it, and you're like, wow, I'm glad I did that. But you never know. So let's talk a little bit about our 12 volt talk YouTube subscribers and give some of the commenters a shout out.
shootout. We gave them
Give
two shootouts
See,
this year.
you
They
made me
or
think
was
about it. I
last
can't
year.
get this 6.5 inch shootout out of my head now, Rob. You've done it.
Oh man! Tell you what, you pay for them all, and I'm gonna shoot them out.
I will get the Brazilians to mail them to you.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going off the top of my head. I'm not even gonna look at YouTube of just the commenters that I see every time we do live. Rick Quattlebaum, Focus Stark Audio, Eric Dudley. Who else do we see in there?
The 666 Bud,
Yes.
he's always there.
Man, there's so many people.
Dave F,
Yep.
Showtime SPL. We got
There,
2001 Monolithic, Wade
yes.
Hicks.
Yeah, there's a lot of people, and we appreciate all you guys, man. Yeah, I mean, you make it fun for us. I mean, the funnest part of our podcast is afterwards when we just get to chat with you guys.
And we'll do that coming up soon. And Mark, which is MSH68, he's always on here too.
Oh
And
yeah,
there's a lot. Any of the ones that we missed, it wasn't intentional, but like Rob said, we just kind of picked off some off the top. You guys being here, giving comments and helping us out when we misstate something, we really do appreciate
yeah,
that.
yeah. And you guys get on there, and Monolithic, what it used to be Haywood. So he makes videos. So y'all get on there and make some videos so we can watch them, check them out. I like to see all that stuff.
Yeah, we are creators, but we are consumers of
Yeah,
videos as well. Every night before I go to bed, I create a playlist of about 5 or 6 videos, and I fall asleep watching YouTube.
yeah.
So try to,
I hardly watch TV. I mainly watch YouTube.
yeah, I'm the same way. This is
Yeah,
like back in the day when Tech TV started coming on cable channel. I thought that was the best because I was like, people who like technology, this was great.
yeah.
And then what was the other thing? The
G4 after it.
Discovery. No, the Discovery shows where they did the
Oh,
chip foose cars and stuff like that, the
yeah.
overhauling,
Hmm.
and then the ones where they worked on the trucks. They called it trucking or something.
Yep.
Stuff like that. It used to be CMT back in the day before it was something that was a country
Yeah.
music channel. They played stuff, but we have such
Oh,
a broad
the power block.
power block.
I
Yeah,
used to love that, man.
that was on Sunday morning, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so stuff like that now that you can get any day, every day, because there's so
Yeah.
many creators out there. And I'm always finding new people with cool videos too. So it's awesome.
Yeah.
YouTube's a great place to be.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of good stuff on there. I mean, with Stacey David has his own YouTube channel now, or I guess he actually has a real channel. But yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, there's so much content. We just enjoy it, and we're glad to we can create some stuff for you guys to enjoy. So Rob, do you have any picks of the year? Now you put this on this document, so I hope you have something because I don't know that I have one.
So, let me think. My pick of the year. What would that be? I'm trying to think of some. I just put it up there, but I didn't actually think about it until you asked me.
Oh, that's putting you on the spot for sure.
So my pick of the year that I use this year would probably be the Moscone AS 100.4. It's amp that I got in 2018, and I really put that thing through the paces, and I loved it. It's out now, but I had a good time with it.
Well, that's cool. I don't know that I have a pick of 2018.
I have a second pick.
Go ahead.
All right, so my Audible Physics, I got the Ram 2 and the Ram 6, and I really love those speakers. I put them in the drawers, and I've got no plans to change them, and that's weird for me. I always want to change something, but I'm not going to change those.
So I'm gonna give a pick of a company because we talked about this company quite a bit, and I'm gonna give a shout out to Rockville. Rockville
Oh,
is not a subscriber. I mean, they're not a paid advertiser or anything like that. But man, that those K9 subs, I've heard good about the K6. Their amps,
yeah.
they're inexpensive. They've got that good return policy if you don't like them.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know,
Nope.
man. That's tough. They got some.
And
They're
I've
killing it.
used the return policy. Matter of fact, let me see. I've got something I'm sending back right now. So I'm sending
Okay.
it back. I'm gonna get something else, but yeah, I mean, it was no problem. I just told them basically it wasn't exactly what I wanted, and they said okay, send me a return label, ship it back.
There you go.
Well,
Well,
can't be mad about that.
that was off the cuff for me for sure because I just thought
Yeah,
about we've been talking about them. We tested some of their products and you know, hey, they've got a lot of stuff.
yeah. They got like podcasting gear, and that's part of what this is. So They're cool company.
They are that. So, what about podcast reviews? Have you seen what we're at yet? I need to
So
check.
I think we're at 54 last time I looked. We gave away one sub already, and I forgot to ask for pictures. So, Mr. John Booth, if you're listening, send us a picture to our 12-volt talk Gmail. But we're giving another sub away at 75 reviews, and then an amp at 100. So we hadn't been plugging it. We forget when we have guests to plug that, but uh, yeah, let's get those reviews in. It really helps us. We want to be discovered outside of our little, you know, sphere, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah, I'm showing 56 reviews right now on Apple Podcast. And yeah, again, we appreciate this. It looks like they're all 5-star reviews, and we greatly appreciate that. We're trying to get to 100, like Rob said, give away
Yeah,
some more goodies. So if you listen to it on Apple Podcast, and give us a review. So we're trying to get noticed because you don't, unlike YouTube. YouTube, you're watching a video, you'll see a link to a different video. When you're listening to it on the podcasting app like Apple Podcast, they have related stuff, but it's not easy to find. So anyway, yeah, if you could leave us a review, we greatly appreciate it.
yeah, and there's not an easy way for us to be defined as a car audio podcast on podcast feeds. That's why we're under technology, and that is such a broad spectrum of stuff. So
Yeah, I can't believe they don't have an audio subsection under that,
yeah,
because all the home theater stuff, and I don't know how many people in home audio do it, but I know, that's a pretty niche market too. But home theater is more open. You would think there'd
yeah,
be quite a few under that, but I don't know. Maybe not with podcast.
yeah.
People want to see videos instead. Well, cool. We'll finalize this episode here, episode 22, of what we thought about 2018 and some of our predictions for 2019. So let us know if you're watching this on YouTube. Comment what you think about what we said. If you have any other predictions, or if you have any other things that we missed in 2018 that you think are really great, leave a comment below. If you're listening to this via podcast, make sure you check us out on youtube.com/12vtalk, and you can get some of the beautiful screen shares that I do during the podcast that you can't see through your speakers. That'll be the day, right? Like smell-o-vision, that you can smell stuff. When you can
Yeah.
see stuff through your speakers, that's when we're really making it big. That was bad. Anyway, we will sign out for this week. Thanks as always for listening. Till next time, BigDWiz, HiFiVega. We are out of here.
Yeah. Later.
All right. Thank you guys in the chat room. We got 61 in there right now. What is up?
Oh, there we go.
I'm going to start at the bottom. Shout out to my red old school stereo t-shirt. Oh, so soft. It is. I've had like 2 people comment that they had problems when they got their shirts in. One of them, the guy had like a cut in it. Make sure if you do have any problems, contact Teespring, because I don't fulfill these. Teespring does it for me. If you have any problem, their customer service will get you another shirt. And if you have any problems getting anything back, please let me know. That way I can contact them for you. But the way it works is they do the fulfillment, so they're supposed to take on the customer service. But I've heard many, many more positive comments. Just a couple people that had problems with the shirts. I think one of them, some of the silk screening was bad, but all the other ones have been positive. Make sure you check out Rob's channel too, HiFiVega, because he's got some t-shirts for sale too. Cool
Yeah.
designs.
Yeah. Teespring.com/HiFiVega merch.
Yeah, check that out. Let's see.
Let's see.
Big D, what was the first car audio video you mentioned? One. I'm gonna need some background on that, brother, because I don't know exactly what you're referring to. let's see. The first car audio video
It,
that I mentioned was the
well, he's
oh
talking about the one you made, I think. Your first car audio video.
oh. Is that what you're asking?
I
Oh
think
boy.
so.
I think it was a Rockford. Let me pull it up here and I'll look. I think it was a Rockford Punch 150 something. Look for some of the other questions, Rob, and I'll
All
try to
right.
pull it up real quick.
Let's see right here. T-shirts. It's good times.
I don't know. There's an easy way to sort these either. You got to kind of click through
Yeah.
on YouTube. It won't let you. You can sort them by the most popular, or you can sort them by, let's see, newest. I can't sort it by the oldest, so I'm gonna have to click through. It's gonna take me a minute, but I'm pretty sure it was a Rockford Punch 150 and a Punch 45. I had them like on a table, and I was trying to talk like with a deep voice. People were saying it sounds like you're constipated. People are really nice when they leave comments and videos sometimes. Have you ever had any of those, Rob?
Yeah. I don't get them as much because I don't get as many big videos, but the big videos that I got are around 50,000 views. I got some of them, or
Yeah,
just random like "f you," like
yeah.
I'm sorry.
And the experts are funny too because gosh, there's one of the ones with the LaPi home amp where I said the chip is rated at 10% THD, and people are like, "Oh, that amp must sound horrible. 10% THD is terrible." And I'm thinking, do you really think it's 10% the whole time you're listening to it, or right when it gets to the rating?
Yeah.
But it's just I don't know. There's too many experts in this world. Okay, I did find it. The oldest. Oh, I'm wrong. I've got another year. This was September 2010. I'm gonna pull it up real quick. Oh my gosh, this is embarrassing because I know this thing is horrible. Hold on, I'm gonna share my screen.
Man, you just got to embrace them.
Yep, here we go. So here is my first car audio video.
Oh, did you look
Look,
at the,
I
you put
even
that
I
up?
even put a little warning up here.
Oh,
This
come
is an
on.
early and bad video. See my latest videos. Yeah, I was pretty embarrassed.
Oh
So,
my goodness.
old school amps brought to you by Big D. And oh wow, I had more than just the Punch 150. So I had the Punch 45, 150, the Halfler MSC 88. I actually bought that one refurbished off of Sound City.
Yeah.
There's a 45, 75, 150, a Punch 30, 400X4, and a 45, 25 to life.
This is before your addiction fully consumed you.
But this is back when you could get the Punch 45, like the one that's not in the box. I
Yeah.
think I paid like $50 for that thing shipped.
Wow.
And the 150 was like $80, and that's when I started getting into it because I'm like, man, this stuff is cheap. And yeah, they've all got their knobs on them. You can see that. And the MSC 88TN, that was actually a pretty cool amp. But yeah, this was my first video. It's got 10,000 views now, which I can't believe it's got that many, but it was so bad. But everybody has to start somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, I've got quite a few bad videos, so it is what it is. You live and learn, and you get better every time.
I would copy it and put it into the comments so you guys can go watch it, but I'll have to put it in the video description because I don't think I can do it here from my tablet very easily because that's the computer and this is where we're sharing it. So I'll put it up there. Yeah.
I'm gonna
Audio
go.
Art HC100. Yeah, that is a nice amp. Roll that beautiful bean footage. I love it. Let's see. The first video I saw was unboxing the Boston Pros. What? And I'm curious too, since you brought that up, Juan. What do you guys think who are watching this live? What do you think about the unboxing videos? Because to me, there's I don't know if you guys have seen what's his name, Lazy Game Reviews. He
Yeah.
does videos where he goes to he calls them thrifts. He goes to the thrift stores and he finds stuff and then he shows it. And to me, that's intriguing. the same way is opening boxes of old school gear that you don't know what it is. And to me, it's cool, but I don't know what everybody else thinks. I've had some people say that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen is you unbox, old gear. But I think it's kind of like you don't know what's in there. It's kind of interesting.
Well, I really like that stuff. Unbox therapy, huge, and I really enjoy it. But I can tell you, when I've done it, it is like literally some of the lowest viewed videos,
Yeah.
lowest commented, everything.
Well, Unbox Therapy Guy really is more about reviews now than he is just unboxing.
Yeah,
He really does pretty detailed reviews in a lot of cases. So he's well beyond that just taking out of the box.
yeah.
But I don't know. To me, especially the old stuff, finding like mint old school gear like Brad, at Legends of Car Audio, he gets so much cool stuff. It will be. I think he would do really well making videos of some of his stuff, especially when he gets it, because he gets
Oh
such
yeah.
nice stuff.
He does pallets and stuff. He's got a YouTube channel. He should.
Put
You
up
need to
more
talk to him, be
vids.
like, hey, yeah, unbox all this stuff, man. People want to see it.
They do. I think so too.
He listens, so he'll hear us and he'll be like, you know what? That's a great idea.
That's right. John Dove 14 says my whole channel is unboxing car audio equipment. There you go.
Yeah. Oh, he said he was almost to 1,000 subs too. So,
Oh, there you go.
so
Hit
he's
him
got
up.
videos. I'm gonna have to check him out. I don't think I've ever checked out any of his videos.
Yeah, I'm subscribed. John Dub 14 Dub Malley. When did you add the end of that, John? It used to be just your first name and last name, but you added some extra characters there.
I'm subscribing. If I don't subscribe by next week, call me out.
What are your New Year's audio related resolutions? I know what mine is. Um, God, I don't know how many months I've talked about this, but unfortunately, I'm off work this week, but I've got projects to do here. But doing the in-car subwoofer amp test on the 10W7 that I actually got from Rob, that is one of my resolutions and early goals to do in 2019 because I think it's pretty important to test all those different amps against each other and see how they sound on a subwoofer, right? Subwoofer is low frequency, shouldn't matter. Well, let's see if it does.
Yeah, and I've been looking forward to that. So get on it, man.
Yeah, get on it. Them 6.5 inch subs too.
Yeah.
Slack
Hey,
up.
this is not about me. This is about you.
Yeah, but we have to push each other.
Yeah.
It's like you got to strive for the best.
My resolution, I wanted to have it done in this before 2019, is to get the big red inside the Suburban. I want to dyno it and do all that type of stuff, but I want to get that amp in, put in my new DSP, which is not a Dayton. It's one I bought before, but maybe I'll get a Dayton.
Will that one fit under your seat, Rob?
Yeah, the big red. Hmm.
Okay. It must be nice to have a Suburban with lots
Yeah.
of room under the seats.
Well, until you got to drive it, and it gets 9 gallons to the not
Nine
or nine
gallons to the
mile.
mile.
Yeah, nine. I
It's like a
wish.
boat.
Yeah.
How many 454s you got in there, Rob? We got one in the front, one in the
Yeah.
back.
It's just super inefficient. No, it's got no power, but it drinks the gas.
Yeah, but it's paid for.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think of the positives here.
Yeah.
Somebody's asking, Alan's asking, what happened to Ryan with budget or bust? Ryan moved, and I just got a text from him last night saying that he's almost got his equipment set up, and I think he's already tested one amp, a Rockville amp. They're just winning here, but he said he's just got to edit the video, and then he's going to put it out. So he's coming
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. He had a little transition period, moving states and everything, didn't he?
Yep,
So,
yep.
and he was one of the most consistent. He'd have a video out every week. So,
Every week, and that is, when you work a full-time job, it is
yeah.
tough to do, especially an edited video. Now, if you can just do the start talking, stop talking, put a little intro and exit clip, which I'm starting to think I should do that more
Yeah.
because I would have so much more content. I'm just trying to figure out a good way to do it. But
I'll
because
tell
I've
you.
got, Go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead. Mine's
I
totally off
I
topic.
was just gonna say I've got so many clips and so many things that I think are kind of interesting, but I don't go into depth. So then I'm afraid that hey, if I just release this, kind of like that unboxing of the Cal Cell, little N
Yeah,
dash VU meter thing. I think just having little stuff like that between the big videos is not too bad. And you don't get as many views, and maybe it's not as exciting to people, but to me, just having the content up there and showing it is important too. I
yeah.
think.
Just has some sort of consistency.
Yeah, because that way
Mm,
we could both do more if we didn't do
yeah,
spend all that time on editing. Just do clips, have your nice mic on when you're capturing it so you can get the audio good, and just go with the flow. Go in and crop out some of the
yeah.
segments and just be done with it.
And a little spoiler here for the people that watch after. I've got another shootout that's going to be coming up soon, but it's not going to be a hopefully multi video. I'm going to try to squeeze it down to one long video, and that's why I've done it like that. I use my little purple panda mic. That way I can record on the fly.
Sweet.
So it's gonna be cool. I don't even know if I told you about it.
You
Did I?
did.
Oh, okay.
I know.
Yeah.
Nobody else knows, but I know. It's
So
coming. It's going to be epic.
here's something weird about YouTube. I don't know if this is the same for you, but like my username for a lot of things back in the day was HiFiVega. It is very weird to me to call myself HiFiVega in real life. Is that ever weird to you with your?
It is, especially for mine, because I think that's one thing that may be holding me back is my username because people don't know. Even my wife has said that's a horrible name because BigDWiz is just think somebody's going to think that you're peeing, and I'm like, no, it's Wizard. It's
Yeah,
Wiz. But yeah, I've honestly just within the last week have thought about changing my username to Williston Audio just because it's more relevant. You've got
yeah,
somebody like Mead916. That's his last name and his zip code, the first three of his zip code. That doesn't make much sense either. But you see the ones that say like, Sundown Audio or Soundman Car Audio, stuff like that. It's
yeah.
relevant, and when people find that, then they know what it is. And I've heard people say, "Well, everybody knows Big." No, people don't know what BigDWiz is, and I don't think it's relevant to old school stereo or anything. So I don't know. I'm thinking about changing it seriously.
So I guess I got lucky in that aspect, anyways, that it is Hi-Fi Vega. But yeah, it's weird, especially when I meet somebody somebody that I kind of know through like family or something. They watch the video and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're Hi-Fi." Like, oh man, this is a little bit weird.
Well, the good thing about it is it's a great name because it's obviously hi-fi. It's got your
Yeah,
name. I mean, it makes sense. So you did good in the beginning. Mine, not so much. And it may be too late to change it, but I'm seriously thinking about changing mine. Just a
yeah,
channel name. Obviously, I can't change the URL. It's still going to be youtube.com/BigDWiz because it's too late. I've already got youtube.com/old school stereo, but it's the second channel that I made a while back,
mm,
and I can't release that one and grab it for this channel. I'd have to move some of the content over, and I don't have the monetization going on there, so it would be too much trouble. But anyway,
yeah.
the problems we face throughout the life. Derek, when will the PPI amp dyno be tested? Hurry up, dance monkey. So, gosh, I've got Power 650 video from Rockford that I did 4 years ago or something. I still haven't released. And the problem I had with that one was those of you who've seen the interview with Wayne Harris, I even contacted Wayne Harris about using some of his content way back then. He's like, sure, just make sure you put brought to you by Wayne Harris Enterprises or whatever he had in his requirements. But the problem I had with that one is I was trying to make it too trying to put too much information in the video. In other words, I kept thinking, oh, I need to add this, I need to add that, I need to add more stuff about the Terminator hearse,
Yeah.
and then even his older one, the Buick that had the MOSFET or the bipolar 650s, and I was trying to make a history of the 650, and it just got to be, oh, I got so tired of doing all that research, and I just kind of gave up. Now, with all that said, I don't want to do that with the PPI A1200 because I just want to show the video, but I started getting into that again because I started talking about the 1200 versus the 1200.2, the differences in them, um, you know, the artwork and how it was done and all this, and it just got to be a little bit too in depth. So I think I'm just going to do just a little bit of talk about it and then do the amp dyno video and be done with it because
Yeah.
sometimes
It's hard to know whether you should do it short. If you go too long, nobody's gonna watch it. If you go too short, people want more. It's hard to find that balance.
it really is, and it's difficult to draw the line, and that's the problem that I have sometimes with some of this stuff. Is where do you decide how far historically to go? Some of my favorite YouTubers, Techmoan, Lazy Game Reviews are two of them. But if you watch, especially Techmoan's videos, he does a lot of older equipment, but he goes pretty in depth about history, and he obviously spends a lot of time researching and finding out about a product and how many they sold and how much they sold for, and he'll get like scans from magazines and all that kind of stuff. To me, that's very interesting, but it's very time consuming. He does it full time, so he has a little extra time to do that type stuff. But that's what I aspire to do. But then reality sets in, and I don't do it.
Yeah.
So
Well, if you get a chance, check out, especially if you're into older game historian.
yes, he's very good too, and
Yeah.
his videos are incredibly detailed, and some of them are very long. What was the
Oh
one
yeah.
about the? Is it the history of Nintendo? The one was the one Atari versus Nintendo or something. That one was pretty good.
Uh, I know he done a Sega.
Sega was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of his videos are good. If you go watch is it Game Historian or Gamer Historian?
I think it's game or
Gaming,
gaming. Yeah,
Gaming
gaming.
Historian. Yeah, make
Yeah.
sure you check him out.
Oh, and he does one with the robot. Remember the Nintendo robot? How they had to release it with that. And a lot of cool stuff.
I think he did one also about Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Yeah.
That one's really good because he talked about the different.
And I had the other one, the Mr. Sand or whatever his name was at the end. That's the version I
Mr.
had,
Dream.
Mr. Dream.
Yeah.
And I had that version, and I went to a buddy's house. He had Mike Tyson's Punch Out. I was like, hey, wait a minute.
That guy shafted.
Yeah. So I ended up going to the used game store and getting a copy of the Mike Tyson's. Like like I'm not feeling you, Mr. Dream. Get out of here.
And see, that shows a difference in our age because I didn't even know there was a non Mike Tyson's Punch Out. So that
Yeah.
gives our few years difference in age.
Well, we were a little poor, so we didn't get nothing when it come out. I think I might have got it like 4 or 5 years after it had already come after they were coming out with this SNES. So
Well, back then we were the same way. I mean, we had to plan.
yeah,
We'd save money for months, and back then you got the Nintendo Power magazine, which I'd get for Christmas. To get a subscription, you get it once a month or once every 2 months. But they would talk about games that were coming, so then we knew, how long we had to save up.
yeah,
Things like that, and the Zelda Adventure Link and all that. But we're getting way off topic here.
yeah. Power Glove. That's it. Next one.
Let's see. Do a series of unedited with its own short intro explaining that it's quick video series or some such. Yeah, the thing that made me think about it is I've been trying and I'm not very good at it. But some weeks I'm actually doing a picture every day for Instagram, and Monday is Monster Monday, Tuesday is Two for Tuesday, Wednesday is Wayback Wednesday, Thursday is Throwback Thursday, Friday is either Fosgate, Phoenix, or Flashback Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday have their own little hashtags. But I thought about that. You could do just a quickie video about it too, showing off a product and say it's whatever day. I don't know. I'll think about that. I might try it. What's it gonna hurt, right? It's not
Yeah.
gonna. People don't want to watch it. They just won't watch it. But
Yeah.
if you think about the ones that do videos every day, like Sundown Audio Unofficial, Derek is the guy who does that at Sundown. They release a video every day during the week. Obviously, he does it, mostly full time, so he has time to do it. But if you watch, they've got like 2,000, 4,000, 5,000 views on each of these videos. And if you add it up for the week, it's a lot. And they just hit 10,000 subs too within just a few months.
Yeah.
So they're growing pretty quick. I think that's a trick. More content.
Yeah.
And their
Definitely.
stuff is not that edited either. In fact, some of the Amp Dyno videos are like, dude, that was 15 minutes. Just straight, reset the dyno, go back. And anyway, just a thought. We'll talk about it. Think about it. Try it.
Yeah.
An Amp Dyno video, then an in-depth video separate. That's a thought too.
Yeah.
It's definitely a thought because I
The
think,
problem with that is once you've done that amp dyno, there's five other things sitting there. Like I could do this, or I could keep revisiting this.
yeah, I agree.
So,
I agree that happens. Somebody says something about I thought Big D bought that ride a long time ago. So I did. It was July of last year, but I don't think I got it until August. It was a absolute nightmare getting that car from California to North Carolina, and I said it in the last video, but I literally could have taken 30 minutes explaining the between dealing with the trucking companies, the failures to pick it up, the one guy that showed up to pick it up that had like a BMW with a trailer, and the guy who sold it to me wouldn't even let him take it because he's like, he's got to go down a mountain. He's not going to make it. His brakes aren't going to work good enough. It was just unbelievably difficult to get that car here. And then I didn't even hear it until the actual guy showed up here, which he was like 22 years old. He drove it was over 2,800 miles from California to here in North Carolina. He did it in like 3 or 4 days. I think it was like three
wow.
days. He obviously didn't sleep. He just drove. But he got here and he said they had issues cranking it. And he said they used a forklift to put that thing on the car carrier.
Oh no.
I'm just like, dude, I don't want to hear stuff like that. I really don't.
You should have been on that show, man. What was that? U Ship or
Yes.
Shipping Wars?
So the story about that is when I first decided to buy the car, even the guy I bought it from, he bought and sold cars over the years. He was in his 70s.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I've used U-Ship. He said they're usually okay. So I went on U-Ship, created an account, put the date that I needed it shipped, and then people bid. They start high. They were started around 2,000. They worked themselves down. I was hoping somewhere around 1,200 is about what I expected to pay. So then it gets close to the date that the bidding ends, and then it tells me that these people who are bidding, it says they have 5 to 7 days once the bidding ends to pick the vehicle up. I'm thinking, no, I needed it picked up on this day. I didn't need to worry about the bids being done. It didn't explain that very well.
Yeah.
So then I had to cancel all the bids. And of course, some of the companies contacted me and they're like, oh, we can do it for this. And it was a lot higher than what I anticipated. But then what I found out pretty soon afterwards is the location of where the vehicle was it was literally on a mountain, and it was on a mountain road that could only be traversed by, at the biggest, a rollback. Could not be 18-wheeler standard car carrier. So I had to end up paying for somebody to go pick it up with the rollback, take it to Sacramento, and this was right around July 4th because I remember that was a holiday weekend, and then Sacramento to here. And you have the choice of open or closed. You're thinking, man, this is a hot rod. I'm going to do it closed, right? Dude, have you priced that?
No, I haven't priced any of them.
4 with 3 zeros after it.
Wow.
Yeah. it was like a third of the well, a fourth of the cost of the vehicle, or a fifth,
See,
a fourth.
Me and Jason were gonna drive it up here for you.
So that coolant leak would have not let you go very far.
No, he's
So,
got a carpool. He's got a carpooler,
oh,
a
okay.
car trailer.
Yeah, y'all could have done it then. You should have done it.
Yeah,
Should have helped the
yeah.
brother out.
We tried to, but we weren't professional enough. We not professional enough.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Because the guy that showed up here, he was very professional. Man, I wanted. Oh gosh, I had all this communication from the trucking companies too that I wanted to blast. Oh, I even talk about it. The I paid somebody to go inspect the car.
I remember that.
Yes. So $300 and some dollars for somebody to go out. He's supposed to drive it. He's supposed to take pictures. He's supposed to give me feedback about anything. So I get this report, 80 some pictures. The guy's like, car runs great, shifts, brakes fine, blah, blah, blah. All this stuff. All the pictures. He said, well, I can't really tell in the paint because it was dirty. It was like the guy lived on a dirt road and he had a lot of dust on it because he had it outside. Dude, I get the thing here. It won't even shift out of first gear.
He didn't drive it to have to shift it out of first.
I don't know what happened. But luckily, and those of you who know the C4 automatic transmission with Ford, is it has a vacuum that it has to pull in order to shift the gears. So my mechanic found out that and added the vacuum line, which wasn't even tapped into the intake. So there's no way this thing shifted. Anyway, I can get into that, but like I said, it would last forever, and I don't want to go on about that because it makes me mad when I start talking about that stuff.
Uh,
I really got into the depths there. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, branding is a big thing.
Here.
Want to see the dyno of the US Amp 700T? Yeah, I've tested the 700T. I've got the video somewhere. I just never finished it. Do not do a premiere. So Dave F. So the idea of the YouTube premieres is that you release a video and you watch it at the same time as your subscribers watch it. But I think the confusing part, and Rob, you can help with this because I saw you did a premiere
Yeah.
recently. I think the confusing part to the viewers is it goes into your subscriber feed as soon as you release it, not when the
Yeah.
premiere starts. So in other words, it should send it out maybe 30 minutes before or something. But if I upload a video today and say I'm going to premiere it on Friday, it's going to put it in people's subscription feed today. They're going to click on it. It's going to say video not available. And they're going to be like, what's that all about? So it's really a bad design from YouTube about how that works. And
Yeah.
it doesn't work right now.
Yeah. It should
Unless you're
send
going to
out.
do it, unless you're going to upload it right now and do the, do the premiere like within 30 minutes or something.
Yeah, but then at that point, you don't get no time to build up people wanting to watch it. So,
That's true. Yeah, you can't
well,
you can't generate the link and any of that stuff. So it's really hard to do that. Um, so yeah, I haven't used it yet. But the one thing I thought about that we could do, Rob, and I think I talked about this before. And I noticed Steve Mead is doing it on Facebook because Facebook has their own premieres, but you can re-upload an older video
oh
and
yeah,
watch it again. And I thought about doing that, but I didn't want it to go back in people's feeds and everything. But on Facebook, Steve is actually a Facebook creator, and he gets the ability to do these premieres. I don't think I can do it, and you probably can't do it either.
no,
But he's actually getting monetization on those videos too.
hmm. That'd be nice. But uh, Facebook is it's so closed of a system. It's a disaster.
They are all take and no give, really,
Yep.
unless you're big, like him. Let's see. Street Rod is the awesome Kentucky Wildcat Blue. Do a video of all the BS to get that car. I don't know. You guys will fall asleep hearing the whole story. I had to write it down. It was so bad.
Oh, that maybe that would be a good 12-volt talk episode, a whole episode.
I don't know. I
That'd
don't
give
think
us an
enough.
hour.
That would definitely give us an hour, but I don't know that it would be interesting enough. If we can get enough feedback that people want to hear it, I would do it. But
Yeah.
otherwise, it's wow.
Let's see. You know what we do is we get Jason on, and then we sit here and laugh and make fun of your whole story, and that'll
There's
make it
nothing.
good.
There's nothing else to do but laugh at it because
Yeah.
honestly, and Rob, I think I even told you this. My initial plans were, and even the guy I bought it from, he was excited about it. I said, I'm going to do a video about how to buy a car across country. How to
Yeah.
buy your dream car and have it shipped. Because I was going to figure it out and I was going to do it. Yeah, I did it all right. And
Yeah.
it made it here in one piece. But man, I would hate to try to explain how to do that properly because I sure as heck didn't do it properly.
Go drive and pick it up yourself.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was looking at flights the day before to go pick up the car, even though I wouldn't have made it very far. At
Yeah.
least I would have had it in my possession. Because there's a whole other part of the story that I'm not even going to go into about why I needed to get the car as soon as I could.
Oh, and
That's the
you
teaser.
you could have been like what's that show? Top Gear, where when they break down, they make them get in the car in the back of the flatbed.
Yeah, I would have been in the flatbed the whole way
Yeah.
back. How many truckers are in this chat? So this is not negative toward the truckers by any means. It's I didn't understand, even though I had people explain it to me, and I learned along the way about the trucking companies for carriers, car carriers in July. First off, I heard don't buy anything from California in the summer because they're in such high demand to transport cars that you're going to have to pay a lot more than normal. And I came to find that that's true. But they pretty much have the pick of the litter. They can choose whichever ones they want to do. And ones like this that were on a mountaintop, yeah, right. We're not picking that car up.
Yeah.
But this is nothing about the truckers. I mean, the guy who delivered it he was fine. He no issue with him. But I don't know how he drove 2,800 miles in 3 days.
Maybe that's how we should fund our car audio lifestyle. We should get like on used ship. We'll just be 12E Talk Trucking.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just start shipping stuff, dude.
Well, but that's the thing. See, a lot of them are not really trucking companies; they're brokers.
Yeah.
So they sell a service for $1,200, and then they put a bid out on their own little site, and for $800 to get somebody to do the job, they pocket $400, and they just
Oh,
smile away
that's
to the
even
bank.
better.
Yeah,
Middleman. Let's be the
exactly.
middleman then.
That's what they all are. I don't know, even
Yeah.
the big ones.
I've been wanting to get in the middleman business for a long time. Any middleman business.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's how. I mean, there were some that were true trucking companies, but not many. Let's see. I hope you keep it that shade of blue. I watch it after you put a system in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I used to drive a USPS truck. That's funny. Class C amp is a CB amp. That's funny. Alrighty then. Well, good chat here, Rob.
Yeah.
And appreciate the feedback here of everybody who's on YouTube. We had quite an audience today for our subscribers. We're still under 1,000. We got like 860 something as the last check.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Getting there. We hit a K here before long. And yeah, so I guess we're good unless you have anything else. I didn't see any other questions. I hope I didn't miss. I'll
No,
just give another 10 seconds or 15 seconds. If I missed
no.
any questions that you guys asked, go ahead and ask it again real quick so it'll show up at the bottom.
And before we sign out, I have to say BMX, BMX, BMX. Just, we have to fulfill the requirements.
So you know what? That gives me an idea. So my dad had a VHS camcorder back in the early 80s,
Yeah.
and I've got a lot of footage of us riding bikes and stuff. So I should create a little outro for every video to have a little BMX segment.
That'd
Show
be
me,
awesome.
show me do an aerial or something, or
Yeah.
riding my little scooter, which is a joke. Rad movie remake for 2019.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing like a couple of fat guys on bikes.
Yeah,
Old guys.
I would not try to get on a 20-inch. Is there any CS news? I don't think so, John. None yet that I've heard, because I don't think it
Yeah.
started yet.
I think maybe we'll try to cover that though, if enough comes out. At least a segment, anyways.
Yep. There will definitely be probably Pioneer,
Yeah.
Alpine, the big companies, Kenwood. They're going to release new stuff. And if it's just, new models of head units and new wireless AirPlay or wireless, what do they call it, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto,
Yeah.
that's not going to, make a new show for me. But, Rockford, the Power Series amps have been out for a while. I'm starting
Yeah.
to wonder when they're going to replace those.
We don't get the big upgrades like phones and all that in the car audio world. It
That's
kind of
right.
sticks around for a long time.
Yeah.
I
Because
mean,
it's,
like them little MVX amps we talked about, those have been out, what, 5, 6 years at
yep,
least?
yep.
So,
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that I get the test has been out for a while because it's just when it comes out new, it's hard to get discounted.
yeah.
Got to pinch my pennies. Alrighty, guys. Well, thanks for joining us
All right.
live.
Yeah.
We're going to sign out and we will hopefully have a guest next week.
Yeah.
We have one in mind and he's tentatively agreed or penciled in, is what we call it. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll check you then.
Catch y'all
Everybody
later.
have a good night. Happy New Year.